Music is something that should make you feel good. It has the power to transform one's mood from gloomy to feelings of jubilation. Music always has been a means to scream when I couldn't, to laugh out loud, and to cry without anyone knowing my pain. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Wilson and Vibe.
Bye.
Hey, welcome to the Timmy Willis Show. You guys are in for an extraordinary treat. Today, I have a very, very talented individual. You know, we've had some of the most exciting saxophone players cross our path. People like the late Sonny Rollins and the late Grover Washington Jr. But fortunately for us, we still have the one and only Mr. Jarrett Wilson. Jarrett, how you doing?
Good, Timmy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm so glad you took time to come on and talk to us.
Thank you for having us. We're really looking forward to it.
It's a pleasure. Well, Jarrett, let me ask you this. We're going to go all the way to the beginning, man. Where were you born?
I was born right here on the north side. In Manchester is where I grew up. We used to live in Northview Heights, and when I was 1 month old, the family moved down to Manchester and lived there until I got married.
Yeah? Well, what was it like for you growing up back then?
It was fun. You know, I had an older brother and sister, but my cousin lived around the corner, so it was really him I hung out with. So it was good growing up. We had a nice family.
Yeah, so as a kid, well, what did you do for fun?
I loved to play basketball.
Okay.
Play dodgeball until I got too tall. When they always could hit me with the ball, they could find me. So I had to stop playing dodgeball, so it became basketball mostly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that you started this musical journey as a youngster by playing the trumpet.
Yes.
Now, how did that all come about for you?
I'd have to say they probably picked back in elementary school. They say, "Oh, you look like a trumpet player. You look like this." So they gave me the trumpet, and it was fun. It was nice to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, how did you end up in music class, though?
I guess I had a big mouth, so I liked to talk, and I liked to sing as well. So they put me in the choir and the trumpet, and that's kind of how it happened.
Okay, so that was your decision.
Yeah, I'd say. I liked watching everyone sing up on the stage, and I said, I'd like to go up on the stage and sing. So I joined the choir, and soon after started playing the trumpet as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, let me ask you this. The first time you blew a trumpet, do you remember when that was, and what was that like for you, that experience?
It hurt. That's what it
really?
felt like. It gave me a lot of a headache, all that pressure playing, so it hurt. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after a while, it started to come together, and I was able to start getting some notes and sounds out, and it became fun. It was like you had to do it all with your lips, moving it up and down and things. So it was a good thing to start with.
Okay, so you continued to do it. Did you practice a lot with it?
I would practice. I wasn't good, but I would practice. You know,
is that right?
I practiced and played the trumpet all the way up until 8th grade.
Yeah, and so the choir, you joined the choir because you wanted to be on stage.
I did like to be on stage.
Is that
I
right?
like to be in the limelight, I must admit. So that's how I kind of joined the choir.
Yeah. Well, did you do any solos, any leads while you was in the choir?
My voice was designed to be an instrumentalist, I think. So no, not too many of those.
Now, the first time that you performed in front of an audience, I mean, either on trumpet or in the choir, do you remember when that was? And what was that like for you, that experience?
It would probably be about 3rd grade, singing up on stage with the choir, and it was a pretty cool experience. Everyone there and looking out at everyone in the school, and you know, being a part of something special was nice.
Yeah, no butterflies?
Well, you always get a little bit nervous, you know.
Is that right?
You get that warm sensation when it's time to go on. You're like, I hope I don't mess up. So that's kind of how that goes.
Yeah. Now, something really was like a pivotal point in your life.
Yes.
In the 8th grade, something happened. Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was about to graduate 8th grade. I was going to be going to Shenley as my high school. So one day came 2 brand new saxophones, one alto and one tenor. And that doesn't happen, new instruments coming too much to the Pittsburgh Public Schools. So it was a momentous day, and I seen this tenor saxophone, and it was kind of like me, big, long, and awkward. And I said, I got to play it. I don't know why, I had to play it. And I begged my teacher for like 3 weeks straight. I could be very persuasive. And he said, but you're leaving, you're getting ready to go to high school. Just get it when you go. I said, no, I want it, I got to have it. So he let me play it, and when I played, I just fell in love.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The first time you blew it, it just it was love at first sight, in so many words, huh?
It was the first time that music actually started to sound like music. I started to sound like the things I heard on the radio, and then I started to be able to pick out the sound of a saxophone, you know, in any movie, in any music. I drive my family crazy. I'd be like, oh, that's a saxophone as we're watching TV, you know.
Yeah.
I could start hearing it, and I couldn't hear it like that with the trumpet.
So it came pretty easy for you, because I mean, there's a lot of keys on a saxophone.
Yeah.
So it came pretty easy for you?
It was a lot easier than the trumpet because the saxophone's more like a machine. You know,
Okay.
you just pick the note and it goes with you. Where the trumpet, you had to only had 3 valves and you had to manipulate it all with your mouth. With the saxophone, you just hit the right key and
Right.
off you go. So it was much more natural for me.
Now, was you able to keep that over the summer?
I was able to keep it over the summer, and sad to say, my teacher never saw that saxophone again because I took it right to high school.
Took it to high school, huh?
And kept playing. Yes.
Yeah.
That summer, though, I took some lessons with Leonard Johnson, who ended up joining my
Okay.
band as keyboard player. He was with Manchester Youth Development Center, and
Right.
that got me started. And then when I got to high school, my saxophone, or my band teacher was actually a saxophonist, Todd Preston, and he showed me a lot.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about that, but you got another song prepared for us?
Yeah, I'm going to feature our vocalist, Miss Shawnee Lake, on this one. It's called Sunshine of My Life.
Sunshine of Your Life. Now, accompanying you today is on drums.
We have the great Mr. Steve Treadle on drums, the talented Tim Jenkins on the keyboard, and the songstress herself, Miss Shawnee Lake, on the vocals.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Mr. Jared Wilson. All right.
You are the sunshine of my life. Well, that is why I always stay around till you dirty child. You are the apple of my eye. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning, though I loved you for a million years. And if I thought our love was ending, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears. You are the sunshine of my life. That is why I'll always stay around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart. You must have known that I was tumbling, yeah. Because you came to my rescue. I know it must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? You are the sunshine of my life, yeah. That is why I'll always stay around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart. Yeah. that I was tumbling, yeah, because you came to my rescue. I know this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? You are the sunshine of my life, yeah. That is why I'll always stay around. You are the apple of my eye, yeah. Ever, forever, you'll stay. Ever, forever, you will stay. Ever, forever, you'll stay in my heart, yeah. Ever, forever, you will stay. Ever, forever, you will stay. Ever, forever, you'll stay in my heart. In my heart, yeah. In my heart. In my Jayut Zotsit Slibarat Zubai Day. In my heart, in my heart, in my heart, in my heart, in my, 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 in my heart. Yeah, 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 yeah. Next, our leader is going to join us, and we're doing God Bless the Child, if I'm not mistaken. Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Your mama may have, your papa may have. God bless the child who's got his own. Well, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade, 'cause your mama may have and your papa may have, but God bless the child who's got his own. Well, money, you got lots of friends hanging around your door. When your money's gone, your friendships end. They don't come around no more. Rich relations tend to give you crust of bread and such. They say you can help yourself. Don't take too much, 'cause your mama may have and your papa may have, but God bless the child who's got his own. Yeah. yourself. Don't take too much, 'cause your mama may have and your papa may have, but God, 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 God bless the child who's got his own. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, 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 God bless the child who's got his own. Ooh, ooh, who's got his own. Got his own. Who's got his own? Who's got his own? Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, you're missing it. You are in for an extraordinary treat. We have with us this evening the extraordinary saxophonist, Mr. Jared Wilson and Vibe. Jared, you know, you talked a little earlier about your music teacher, Mr. Wingfield.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he let you take the sax home for the summer.
Yeah.
Why did you want to take that sax home for the summer? I mean, what was your motive for that?
I wanted to learn how to play it. I had never knew what a saxophone sounded like, or so I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It just was something about it, the shine of it, the look of it, all the keys. It intrigued me, and I was somewhat mischievous as a kid, so something that intrigued me, you know, I had to test it out.
So what was that summer like for you? Okay, you got a chance to take it home. Did you play it every day?
Every day. It seemed like
day.
every second of the day.
Yeah.
And for once, my family was happy that I was playing because I didn't sound bad. So they were
Okay.
okay with me practicing
Yeah.
and playing.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, you were practicing every day because that you really enjoy playing, or did you know the benefit of practicing every day?
I would say it was just so enjoyable to me.
Okay.
There was a lot going on in my life right then. My parents were kind of like separating, and it gave me a great chance to be an outlet. Music became an outlet for me. When things were difficult, I could just go downstairs and play away. So
Yeah.
that was my release.
Okay, so it was for the enjoyment, but even though you were practicing every day, you were really established a real strong foundation, which you didn't know at the time.
Right.
Because you were just doing it because you really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Now, did you study outside of it? I know you mentioned Leonard Johnson.
Yes.
What was that like? I mean, what kind of stuff did you guys work on?
I remember that summer studying with Leonard. He taught me one of my first jazz songs, Sugar, which was by the late, great Pittsburgh saxophonist Stanley Turrentine. And that was great, spending that time with Leonard. It was even more exciting some 10 years later when he joined my band and played with my band when I was the leader of Jared Wilson, the Vibe. So that was a great summer experience with Leonard.
Oh, man, he ended up playing in your band.
Yes. Yeah.
That is great. Now, Mr. Todd, what's his name? Pearson?
Preston.
Preston?
Yes.
Now, he kind of like took you under his wing. Is that true?
That is very true.
Yeah. And you guys kind of like bonded together?
Yeah, it was like father, son almost.
Is that right?
He was like me, the tall guy. He was 6'9".
Okay.
And he was a saxophone player. And I got there, and he seen something in me at the time, even though I was playing and loving it. I didn't think there was any future for me playing saxophone. It just was something that was fun to do. But he saw something different.
Right.
He let me come and play with his band, and he took me under his wing. It was a great experience working with
Yeah.
Todd
That's
Preston.
great. That's great. Now, did you ever get a chance to actually perform with him?
Yes, fondly remember it. warming up at the back balcony in
Oh, really?
Shadyside. It was him, another great Pittsburgh saxophonist, Don Alico Jr., or actually I think that night it was Eric DeFade. Eric DeFade
Okay.
was with him. Dave Butway on the keyboard. On the bass was Bob Ensko, and Steve will have to kill me. I forget who was on the drums that night.
Okay.
But everybody else was killing.
Yeah.
But he said, go warm up on the back steps. I warmed up on the back steps of the balcony, came out and played Mr. PC with his band, and it was a great experience.
Yeah. Now let's go back to like when you first got your hands on the trumpet,
Okay.
before the saxophone came in. Were you actually listening to music at home? And if you were, what kind of music were you listening to back then?
Well, my parents had one of those big old TV combo stands with the record player in the middle.
We still got one.
Oh, you still got? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we still got it.
It was great. And every Sunday, my dad would wake up before we went to the Kingdom Hall, and he'd make breakfast for us. So we call what pancake songs to us, we call them the pancake songs because we'd hear the music on and the pancakes were coming. But it was actually groups like the Temptations and the Four Tops and all these great doo-wop and R&B groups. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Now, once you got your hands on the saxophone, you started playing, you started studying and all this. Were there any saxophonists that kind of like influenced you or inspired you when you started that journey?
Sure. Mr. Preston had told me to go and get a John Coltrane CD. So I went to Jerry's Records in Oakland, walked up steps and got Countdown by John Coltrane. I listened to it the first time and said, what is this foolishness? It just sounded like a whole bunch of noise. And then I listened to it again after I started playing, and I started to understand it was beautiful and melodic. And so John Coltrane was definitely one. Dexter Gordon, that big sound, Round Midnight, then I learned about the great Mr. Stanley Turrentine, and then Sonny Rollins. Those were some of the ones. And then later, I went into a little bit more smooth jazz with your Kenny G's and your Grover Washington Jr. Yeah.
Now, have you ever played like with a horn section, say like in a funk band or something like that, or would you welcome that type of situation?
That would be something interesting. I one time was going to do a funk band, and it was great to go and practice some of those songs.
Was it?
Everything didn't end up coming together with that band the way I thought, but it was a great experience, and definitely be open to it. I've done big bands, playing lead saxophone, second
right?
saxophone, and those were good experiences.
When you say big band, you mean like Count Basie, that type of music, playing that style of music?
Yeah. Count Basie, big band. One summer at Duquesne University, they had a program, and I was in that big band as well as in the City All-Star Jazz Band as well. So,
Yeah, you got a lot of experience here, man.
didn't realize it until I started talking about it. I guess
It's coming out.
it's coming back.
Well, look here, now you got another song for us.
Yes, we're going to do a song. You talk about funk. Something that's kind of cool is "People Make the World Go Round."
Okay, the Stylistics.
I think
They
so.
recorded that.
Yeah.
So this is your rendition of it.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Mr. Jared Wilson and Vibe.
summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, your ma is good looking, yeah. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your wings, take to the sky. Till that morning, yeah, yeah, yeah. There ain't nothing gonna harm you, no, 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 no. No, Daddy and Mommy standing by. Time and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, jumping, and cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, your old lady's good looking, yeah. hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your wings, take off, go up, high, 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 high to the sky. Until that morning, there ain't nothing gonna harm you. No, no, no. Daddy and mommy standing by. They're standing by. They're standing by. Standing, stand, standing by, standing by, standing by.
We're here with Mr. Jared Wilson. Jared, you know, you said Mr. Preston, you mentioned him. I found out that he had you go to jam sessions.
Yes.
Well, why did he do that?
Well, he said you had to learn from the older cats, you know, and get beat up a little bit, which I did when I went to jam sessions. Yeah. I would go to the one on the Hill, Jazz at the Hill House with Horace Turner. And Mr. Turner would, he'd give it to me, but he forced me to learn music. You know, they play a lot of standards, and I thought I knew them, and he kicked me off the stage, and I'd go home and shed for a little bit, practice, you know, for a couple weeks, come back and impress him a little bit. Then he kicked me off the stage, but he was making me better, and I appreciate that.
Now, after you got out of high school, did you continue to study and take lessons?
Yeah, I still took lessons, private lessons with Mr. Preston for about a year or so. Then I did a little studying with Don Alico Jr. as well as Senior, and Jay Willis did some with him, and just would go to jam sessions and try to steal little licks from whoever I could.
Yeah, yeah, just mix it all up
Mix
and
it all
with
in
your
there.
own style there.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Now, the group's name is Vibe. How did that come about?
Well, you know, a lot of times you go out and play and people say, what are you, a quartet or you a duo or you whatever? I believe that the band should be whatever it needs to be that evening, whether it's a duo or just me on saxophone all the way up until a sextet, whatever it needs to be for the event. And no matter what we do, we're going to have one unanimous sound, one vibe, and it's going to be to have fun and play good music.
Yeah, well, I know y'all got a real strong vibe up in here today. Now, again, who's with you again?
We have Shawnee Lake on vocals, Steve Treadle on drums, and the great Tim Jenkins on keyboard.
All right, man, you guys sound great, man, I tell
Thank
you.
you.
Well, you know, your CD, what is your CD entitled?
Our CD is entitled Worry No More.
Okay.
And for me, it was a great accomplishment to be able to do a CD, especially with great musicians on it. The talented and legendary organ player, Mr. Gene Ludwig, is on the CD. Shotgun Joe Heyman on guitar, Steve Treadle on the drums, and then we do another band with Howie Alexander on keyboard, great musician as well as an educator, and then we also have Bob Ensko on the bass, the same bass player who I originally heard with my teacher's band, Todd Preston. So it's a compilation of 5 originals and 5 covers.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what was that experience like for you, the whole recording process, you know, and then finally hearing the final product, and you know, what was that all like for you?
It was a lot of fun. I must admit I was naive. I thought you just go in and you recorded that day and everything's good, but there was a lot of editing and fixing and going back and doing some retakes. So it was a process that I thought would be done in a day. Took a couple months, but I was very pleased with the final result.
Yeah, and just in case you guys, you heard him say Gene Ludwig, the legendary Gene Ludwig, He's going to be right here joining me in December, so you keep tuning in. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a most memorable performance or most memorable moment when you look back on it all?
I would have to say it was in high school. We were going out to recruit young students to come who were in middle school to come to our high school. And it's at that moment that I realized I was destined to play jazz, not classical or band music, because the whole band's playing and Mr. Preston's up there directing us. The song ends and I'm still playing notes. I'm still trying to catch up and read the music. So he just looked at me, and that was when it was pretty clear that more freelance jazz was my style.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Well, I tell you what, I really want to thank you for coming on, man. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And you
for
got to
having us.
promise me, man, you got to come back and visit us again.
Most definitely. We look forward to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jared Wilson and Vibe.